Welcome to the bi-weekly meeting podcast for the OWASP Generative AI Security Project. If you'd like to stay up to date with our project, please click subscribe. And if you enjoy the content or have any questions, please feel free to comment and share. Now, on to our meeting.
Morning, Jim.
Hey, Steve.
Hey, Rock.
How you doing?
Good.
Are you going to be in Europe? In London?
No, I can't make it, but it looks like
Sad. I get it.
I will be in Saudi Arabia at Black Hat the week before, and I just can't back-to-back that.
Yeah, no, I don't blame you. I'm only going because I have miles to burn and because of the agentic stuff.
Well, obviously, it's everybody wants to be there for the agent party, but
The most epic agent party ever?
yeah, hell yeah. All right, see what kind of turnout we get here. It's been a bit confused about when these meetings are. Scott and I were talking last night. We got to finish reconciling meeting times, but getting a few people. Hey, Ryan.
Hey, how's it going? Sorry, I had to let the dogs out there. And same, I was just curious on which groups on which days, and also making sure I show up.
Yeah.
How you doing? Everybody doing okay? Enjoying
Yeah.
the weather for those whatever weather I suppose you have.
I'm in Colorado this week. It's gorgeous right now, but rumor has it tomorrow it's going to be a storm, snow, yuck. So I'm trying to get out of here tomorrow morning.
We're in Colorado.
I am in Broomfield, which is near Boulder.
Nice.
No, I mean, I'm outside of Denver, right? I'm in Southeast Aurora.
Okay.
Broomfield, the newest county in the United States, if I recall correctly.
Is it?
Yeah.
There you go.
Name sounds familiar. I guess I've never really looked at it. So
It's an oddball little tech hub, like,
It is.
20 minutes north of Denver.
did Google start up something in Broomfield?
No, they're up in Boulder. They're way up in Boulder.
They're older.
Yeah.
Okay. I recall when that opened and they're scouting like crazy. I just couldn't recall exactly where it was at.
Yeah.
I
I got another shout out for Broomfield. I work for Proofpoint, and that's where my office is.
Ah,
So
Yeah, Proofpoint, VMware's up there. Got a big presence up there.
yeah. Sun had an office here since at least 2000. I used to come out here a lot. And then I can see the Oracle campus from my window here.
Oracle. I mean, I moved here. It was still Sun.
It looks, yeah, I think I'm sure the summers are quite a bit better than they are in Austin, but it looks beautiful there. So thanks for sharing. The leaves look pretty. I miss leaves changing colors. That's the worst thing about leaving the Midwest and going to Austin is, you either have it's alive or dead. And the dead happens generally overnight. The next day you show up and everything's dead. So yeah, we don't have a lot of that from a season's perspective.
All right, well, let's get into it. I suspect we have a fairly quick meeting today, but we do have a number of things to go through. Hey, Scott.
there. How's everyone doing?
Good. How are you?
Scott. All right, everybody see those slides?
Yep.
All right. So, hey, welcome to the meeting. As I mentioned earlier, we're in the midst of figuring out a new cadence for this, with so many other meetings going on with the Agentic team, the Red team, the CTI team. We may back these off to a little bit different cadence, but we'll loop around on that next time. But, a few pieces of news to share. One that came up last week when I noticed it is we've crossed 20,000 followers on the LinkedIn group, or as I call it, we now have 20,000 members of the initiative, which is pretty freaking amazing. Uh, I think we've, the first time I announced the LLM Top 10 project, we had about 200 people show up on this meeting. I thought that was insane. I thought that would be the maximum number of people who we would ever find who would want to work on this stuff. Turns out I was wrong by at least 2 orders of magnitude. And looking at the growth rates for this, it's not slowing down. And I think we will see an uptick in interest after the agentic stuff comes out soon. Scott, you want to add any comments on this piece?
Yeah, I think that thanks for grabbing this one. I was going to grab it, so glad you grabbed it. Yeah, so this is a big part of the more evidence about the growth of the project. I'm going to be putting out a state of the project at the end of the week. Some of the data that's coming out of it, this is a great step. The other piece of it is I did analysis of how many assets has the community produced. Any guesses?
42.
Dozens.
100.
Yeah.
I go 100.
Well, you're pretty close. So if we just talk about the things that we are peer reviewed that we've released, we've got 35 that we've released to date, and we have 10 scheduled between now and the end of the year. So I know, Steve, you got a little pre-peak on that, so your 45 was a little bit of a cheat, but that's okay. You're on
I was
board
just
there.
guessing 42 because that's the answer to life, the universe, and everything.
There you go. So you're pretty damn close. So I'll be releasing some of that other information. We're also doing some fun things where we've been tracking the penetration of the resources because, as you know, we're an open source project, and so that means that people take the assets and they create new assets, and there's this whole piece of derivative works, and so we built a agent system to kind of track those, and I'll be sharing the stats of that. The fun part of that is just the initial numbers have us, just we look at last year to this year, we've had over 160% growth rate on the initial numbers in terms of where we are mentioned and where the project is being used and how people are using the content. And so that's not all of the data, but I'll be continuing to tune the agents that I have built to be more precise, and we'll get better data on it. But there's a lot of growth here and a lot of excitement. So I think the next thing, which we'll talk about in the updates, will be the agentic stuff, which will also add to this.
Yep. All right, so let's go through the project reports. Scott, did you drop this in or
I did.
Okay.
Yeah, so I wanted to highlight this. So in a couple of weeks' time, we're going to be having the Agentic AI Security Summit that's going to be happening co-located with Black Hat Europe. If you're going to be at Black Hat Europe, we're going to be right next door at the Crown Plaza. We'll have we'll center sort of the launch of the top 10 for Agentic. So I want to get this out there. The broader announcement go out a little bit later today, but feel free to jump on Luma. Go ahead and register if you're going to be there or can be there, and love to have you all there. So this is going to be a lot of fun. So that's what's scheduled for a couple of weeks from now.
All right. Still Scott.
Still me. Yeah. So the solutions landscape, I wanted to highlight this. This did get an update published for the Q3, Q4 release. And this is as you may or may not be aware, the solutions landscape has multiple forms. It has the form of an online database that we maintain on an ongoing basis. It has the form of the cheat sheets, which are a quick way to relate different solutions to the different sides of the life cycle and helps map them. We produce 2 right now, one for the LLM and one for agentic. The document is actually the detailed matrix behind this. And so this actually does, in the back, you'll find a detailed matrix for each one of the solutions, where they map in terms of the specific stage in the life cycle, what coverage they have for the LLM SecOps and agentic SecOps process, and what specific risks and mitigations they cover. So this is the detailed document behind those summaries, and we produce this every quarter. This next quarter for Q4, we'll also be adding our red teaming listing. So there's a request going out for people to fill out a form for these solution areas. It can be individuals, it can be companies, to help us kind of really focus on create a lens on those solutions that are available that are addressing the agentic and top 10, as well as helping us to understand what are the new tools for red teaming. And so this is what we're doing as part of our end-to-end kind of look at the market and space in terms of helping people connect solutions to our risks and mitigations. So that is what this document is. That's now available. It's a long document. We're going to move to a slightly different structure going forward. We're going to have a taxonomy page, or taxonomy guide, and then we'll have a breakout in specific ones of agentic or red teaming to make it more consumable. But in the effort to kind of make sure we get the data out there, and in our theme of the way we work as a project, get stuff out there and iterate as we go. So we're going to continue to iterate on this document to kind of make it a little bit even more consumable. But this is out there now. The details behind the cheat sheets, and then also updated versions of the cheat sheets to match those details.
All right.
Quick question on those cheat sheets, just on I was just out looking because I was going to pass it along to my teams and different clients, just making sure that the version out there, Q2, Q3, is what you're referencing there. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Sorry, my eyes are getting worse over time, and
Yeah.
a little small in Zoom, and it's a little bit bigger on the left. So I just want to make sure that was the right one to distribute to clients and my teams as well. So thank you. All right, that's really exciting.
Yeah, and it's, as you said, we're getting to a little bit to the point where the amount of logos and vendors we have on that is just incredible. We started out with something like 25 solutions in the space about a year and a half ago, and we're over 150 individual solutions in the space. And so it's just kind of gone crazy. And this is even more the reason why people looking to implement, all of our practitioners, all of us are trying to figure out, we need guides to kind of help figure out what to apply where. So yeah, this has followed the same kind of growth we've had in other areas. There's one thing I do want to talk about real quickly before we go into this, and this is about some of our roadmap that we're continuing to build on. So we have, for the project overall, so this is a general project comment, which is that we have a new initiative that has been approved by the core team, and we'll be rolling out more details about that. That is the SBOM software, AI SBOM software tool. And so look for more feedback and more details around that in the upcoming weeks as we start to stand up the work streams for those areas as well.
That's definitely an area I've had significant interest expressed across everybody. So from a client perspective, I'm very, very interested in what happens out of that.
Great. Awesome.
All right. So this is the first time we've talked about this in quite a while, but
Yes.
plan is to kick off the update for the core top 10 list after the release of the agentic document. I think a year ago, when we envisioned the kind of things that might go into an update for the top 10, a lot of them have gone into the agentic document. And I think it's a good way to evolve that. I think that document has wound up being deeper and more comprehensive than I would have thought. But it's great. And the team has done a really good job making sure that it references what I will call down to the core top 10 LLM in a coherent way. So I think a lot of the task for this LLM top 10 list is going to be to make sure that it references up in the correct ways. And rather than try and duplicate a lot of what's in the agentic list, find the places where we want to call out that there maybe is more details in some of the places in the agentic document. The other thing is, with the rate at which the space is moving, I think some of the examples and mitigations appear dated more quickly than the core vulnerabilities. So I want to take a pass through that and make sure we've updated that Some of the questions that I think we need to address as a team early on is, are there any fundamentally new risks that we want to add to the list? I'm trying to decide, to use a metaphor, uh, how far open do we want to cut the patient when we're doing the surgery here? Is this a minor release or a major release that way? Um, uh, if there are not fundamentally new risks, should we re-rank the lists that we have there? Do we have enough data sources to support a re-ranking that we think is more relevant than the way that we did it last time, which was mostly expert input and voting? Um, so I think those are some of the questions that we'll want to tackle as a group early on. So my plan is, we're going to give the space to get the agentic thing announced and launched, get that out there where it's available in public. Then we will announce this kickoff and some plans, make sure that everybody's had time to review what has been put into the agentic list document, and then really kick off some brainstorming around this. So, any comments, suggestions, input?
Yeah, I've gone.
I have a lot of thoughts. Perhaps we can follow up after, just to so I can get my bearings before I dive in.
Okay,
I've got a question.
Jason.
I raised this about 2 months ago, I guess, maybe. I think there's a conversation that we need to have around prompt injection as a vulnerability. And I floated that on LinkedIn about a month ago and had really positive response from a lot of people. So I think that's a conversation that we definitely should entertain and have, and it's probably going to get very lengthy in
I've already had a couple of really lengthy conversations about this. What's
Yep.
the best place for that, do you think? Is it in the prompt injection channel? Is it in main?
I am going to set up a particular discussion around that one and a forum for it. It seems there's a passion for it. I have my own opinions about it, but
Yeah, I think a lot of
I
people
think
have
that's a good
opinions
one to
about it.
raise.
Yeah, there's a lot of opinions about it.
Yeah, it depends
100%.
upon where you're coming from and what your deployments look
Yeah.
like. Everybody has a
All I will
different.
say is, for those of you who weren't around 2.5 years ago, there were a whole bunch of people who showed up, said it's absolutely not vulnerability. There was a wrestling match, and at the end of it, everybody said, okay, it's fine.
Mhm.
But let's do it again.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Anybody else on this one?
Yeah. Just Steve, since I've been kind of managing that prompt injection side channel for a bit, if you could just make sure to at me or ping me when
Oh,
you
it
do
will
set
be
up that discussion.
broadly announced when I do it.
Okay, all right. I'll stay
Yeah.
tuned.
Okay.
I have a question I can ask today, because I understand some things. How are we distinguishing between model behavior and governance layer behavior? Because runtime controls are where a lot of risks either collapse or amplify.
Oh, this is going to be fun.
Yeah, this is also one of the points of discussion that's come up in multiple times when I've talked about prompt injection. So yeah,
Okay.
it's good.
I think this is also like a problem that you could argue applies to normal web applications as well,
Yep.
right? Like there's things that are endemic to web applications that we have put governance and security tools on top of to try to reduce that risk. So I think there's something to be said for that that clarity also being a struggle in like normal web application scenarios. I mean, input sanitization is a great example, right? Like that's why we put WAFs in front of a lot of web applications.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Steve, also on this, Emmanuel and I have been working on the data collection side of things a little bit here as well. So we now have a web capability for data collection. If we want to use that with this at some point. It may be
Okay.
something that we use after the fact, after you get your first, set of direction around this, but we can then start to collate the mappings. So the mappings that he's done for the different standards, etc., and CREs, etc., are now able to kind of have those on the website, and anybody can contribute to it. So that's in staging right now. So we can take a look at that and see if that's something that we want to use as part of this process.
Okay. All right, CTI.
Hey, I'll just kick this off, and then Rachel, if you want to take a talk about exploit research. So, kind of a few things. We will, first of all, to everyone. So previously, we didn't have kind of regular monthly open meetings. We only had meetings that were dedicated to, kind of ongoing work streams. However, just to kind of align with the broader project, help keep up member engagement, better exchange of ideas. We are beginning a monthly meeting series. So the first Friday of every month at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific, we will be having just a kind of general initiative meeting. So this is going to be like, kind of general discussion. We'll give some more in-depth work stream updates, do some volunteer onboarding, discussion of news, given that this is a CTI-focused channel. I will say for our first meeting coming up that we're going to talk a little bit about how to maybe retool this initiative to kind of better capture its outputs. So if you're interested, want to get involved, if you already are involved, please do join this meeting. The join information is pinned in the Slack channel. So just as an FYI on that. And then in terms of current work streams, I need to chat with you, Scott, about just how to do templates. But we are doing a deepfake guide update. Target publication will be in December. And then exploit research, if you want to take that on, Rachel.
Yeah, absolutely. So the exploit research has been sort of broken up into what we've been calling the classic team, which is looking at just LLMs, pure like a pure Gen AI LLM ability to discover and exploit vulnerabilities, and then our agentic team. And our agentic team has really been crushing it and like figuring out a lot of sort of the finer points of connecting to the environment that's actually helped both teams. So big shout out to those folks. We are expecting to make a little bit of headway. We've selected essentially like the first targets for both teams to go through. We already have a bunch of really good observations, but just with the holidays and everything else that we're going to be doing, we said, realistically, we're probably going to be targeting end of Q1 in 2026 for publishing the results of that testing. And again, this is phase 2, the phase 1 initiative. We already our phase 1 observations we already have published. So we're really excited and actually really excited around some recent reporting from Anthropic that we think helps sort of support some of our observations in the group. So that's about the exploit research initiative. If you're interested, we have had some volunteers sort of get busy with life. And so if you're interested in maybe helping out, please join that monthly meeting. And we'll see how we can get you involved.
Awesome. Anything else on this one?
That's it.
All right.
Thank you.
Red team, Jason.
Hello. Yeah. Hooray, I'm back. Kind of. So Red Team Initiative is going strong. We were languishing for a little bit, mostly because I was just super distracted. And then we added Sonu as a co-lead, and she's been awesome at kind of whipping everything back up into shape, making sure people are excited about it again. And we've made a ton of progress over the last month or two. Also, some of my distractions have gone away, so I'm able to start focusing on it again. Heather TLDR, we're much healthier now than we were 2 months ago, and it's awesome that we're getting back on track. Target for the handbook right now is actually, can you just refresh, Steve, because I updated that.
I can try. Let's see.
Sorry.
No sweat.
I realized at 12:10 that I was adding a slide to a meeting that had already started.
It's okay.
So,
It's better to get them in than not. Let me just
yes.
get back to your piece. Okay. Now push that button. And then push this button. And then that
So
one.
Q1 2026. I'm hoping for January, but it's going to depend on how fast we can get stuff in there. It's going well, though. We've got 5 phases that we've broken the handbook out into. Phases 0 through 3 are in really good shape. And that's things like planning. We've mapped back the handbook to the AI lifecycle, and we're tying the whole process of AI red teaming into where does this fit into the AI lifecycle? What things in the planning stage should you be doing as part of a red team? What stage at the deployment? Right. So I think that's going to be useful for people to have it mapped back that way. And where we're focusing right now, a lot of our time is on the exploits phase. And we've got some pretty good stuff in there for like jailbreak in general. I'm testing a model type scenarios, but what we don't have right now is a whole lot of targeted AI system based stuff. And I really want that to be something we focus on in this, because I think there's a whole lot of content out there that talks about how to do things like jailbreak a model or send prompts that are just testing a raw inference endpoint. And I don't think that's useful. In a lot of cases, most people that are going to be doing this aren't going to be testing a model raw. They're going to be testing a model that's deployed into a system. And that's a different testing scenario, right? Completely.
In fact,
so
you're
I really
testing
want to
the
spend a ton of
system,
time there.
not testing the model.
Exactly. Especially
Yeah,
if it's a
threat
third-party
modeling
model.
is so key.
Yeah, 100%. So that's where we're spending a bunch of our time right now. We have a challenge and also a blessing, I think, in that we have a whole lot of people that are really interested in this handbook that aren't experienced red team operators. What that means is real world examples of how to do red team operations and what this looks like, quote, where the rubber hits the road is what we're trying to get this book to be, is relying on a few key people that are doing this a lot, right? And then there's a whole lot of other people that are helping contribute to things like threat modeling and other stuff. And it's really useful to have that point of view, because as we come in with our red team stuff and just dump a bunch of stuff in there where it's confusing, they're able to help us clarify, right? So it's really nice to have that, but it also means that we've got a little bit of a bottleneck for real world scenarios and examples. So if people that have experience doing this want to come throw in, we would really love that help. That's probably, if I had one place to call out where we need help right now, it's getting experienced AI red teamers in here to help with the real world exploitation examples and scenarios.
Hi, Jason. My name is Diana. I'm pretty new here, but I'd like to really jump into this initiative of red teaming. I've just delivered an AI red teaming project for a core banking application, and I've done some AI threat modeling, etc. So I'd really like to participate in this. Should I drop you my email address, or how can you
just jump right in the Slack channel?
Okay.
Which I thought I
Okay,
had put on
actually,
the slide, but
I
apparently I
don't
didn't.
have access to the Slack channel yet, so
Okay.
I might need some more information to participate.
Yeah, reach out to me then on LinkedIn, or here, I'll put my email in the
Okay,
chat here.
I'll reach out to you on LinkedIn. That's a great
Yep, that
idea.
works.
Thanks. Thanks.
And have you made a request for access to the OWASP Slack?
No,
Just-
not yet. I didn't know that you communicate over Slack, so
Got it. So let me do this too, and I'm going to share this link in the channel, which is our link to how to contribute. So we've tried to get as much of this. Feel free to obviously jump out and reach out to Jason, but just for everybody, I shared here in the link here. This is our outline of how to get engaged. what the project is up to, our governance, how to get tied in with the Slack and the different GitHub channels, etc. So you can use this as a guide. And if anyone hasn't necessarily gone through this process yet, it's posted on our website. So I just wanted to share that out for everybody.
And for anybody
Okay,
watching
great.
this on the
Thank you.
recording, anybody watching this on the recording later, I don't think you'll have access to the chat, but it's genai.owasp.org/contributing. That's your spot if you want to jump in and get started.
Scott, I tried to send someone to that link, to the Slack invite link earlier this week.
Yeah.
It did not work. I received a message back from OWASP leadership saying that the old invite link functionality has recently been changed and removed from nonprofit accounts by Slack and their owner Salesforce. However, we can still invite anyone to Slack ourselves through the actual Slack interface. So I don't know if that link to join Slack is ever going to work again.
Yeah, they're setting up a
And
new
OWASP
process.
is not giving me didn't give me a good indication that like what they're going to do moving forward.
Yeah, so if they haven't fixed that, so there was a fix that was supposed to go in for that link was supposed to redirect to to the back end system so people could request an access. So if that
Not as
hasn't
of, like, 2
happened
days
yet,
ago. Not
then
as of like
I
2
will.
3 days ago.
Okay, so I'll go back and talk to them about getting that fixed and find out where that is. So again, feel free to reach out to Jason. I'll get that updated this week so we make sure that that's correct and whatever the process is. If we have to create our own process, we'll do that too.
Yep.
But if you want to generally see how to get engaged, at least the channels, etc., that's all there. I'll go back and make sure. There's also a Google group you can join that is called contribute.genai.owasp.org. That goes out to everybody who is on the core team of the project is on that list. And so if you have questions and you want to reach out, so if you can't get through on the channel, if you can't get through on the link on the Slack invite, that's the great place to do that. There's a link on that page to that particular Google group. So that's another resource for you to use if you're getting going and you don't have access to Slack. I set that up to make sure that we've got a way for you to engage easily with the project. So go to that page. It's down near the bottom. Click on the OWASP Slack. You'll find the contribute at genai.owasp.org is there.
All right. Hey, I got to duck out. Scott, can I ask you to wrap up the meeting?
Sure.
Okay. Bye, everybody. Great meeting today.
Thank you.
All right. So I think that's the end of our. So are you able to see the share that I have right now on screen?
The contribute page.
The contribute page. Yeah. So I just wanted to make sure that you can go here, and if you want to join the contributing the Google group, and I'll work to make sure that we can figure out the current link status for the foundation. So we make it easy for people to onboard and get engaged. But if not, that Google group is the great place to get started.
So there's also a /contribute, which is different.
/contribute is an old link that should not be active.
It is still active, and I'm on it right now.
Okay.
And I was confused because what I was looking at was different than what you were looking at, and now I understand why.
Yeah. So I'll make sure that gets that redirect, make sure the web team gets that redirect working properly. But this is what you get to if you go to contributing from the website.
Yeah, cool.
And again, it'll walk through a couple things. If you have questions about the project, this is a great place just to kind of get started on it. Again, contribute is there if you have questions. It's always great to kind of take a look at the charter, what the project is doing. So you have a direct link to the charter for the project that you can review. Also understanding a little bit more about the governance and how it works. So if you have questions around how we're doing that, that's available there. You can view the governance. Gives you an idea of what the project structure looks like and how we're managing this. Again, our contribution licensing and and recognition rules. How do we manage both recognition of contributions and what licenses do we have? Because everything we're doing is open source, we don't do agreements. So some organizations, standards organizations, will have you do contributor agreements. We don't do contributor agreements. We do it based upon contributions. So if you contribute, we're assuming that you have the rights to contribute that content and that information to it. Details can be listed here. We list details in the contributors markup file. Place to find the roadmap. For many of you, you already know that, but that'll link you to our roadmap for the project. This is something I asked the core team to keep up to date on a quarterly basis. So we'll be doing an update there. And then specifically how to connect and contribute, both where our GitHub is located, Slack we talked about. We need to kind of make sure we've got that. And then, of course, raise your hand, work for a while. So feel free to share this to anybody who is interested in contributing to the project. And probably send feedback to us so that we make sure we've got that contribute Google group that you can send feedback to make sure that we're doing our best to make this an easier onboarding process. One of the biggest challenges we have for each of the project and initiative lead areas is helping people get connected. So hopefully this can help. All right. So to wrap up today's call, is there anybody that has anything else to add, any more items to discuss? Let me see if I can find the slide deck that we were using for this. Here we go. Okay, so we're at the other business area. So anything else from the leads that we want to talk about at this time or share? I will share from the data security working group that we do have a new update coming there. We released the 1.0 document or earlier in the year. We're starting to work on the 2.0 document, and Emmanuel will start doing some more outreach. So if you're interested in contributing to the data security track, we're going to be sending out an outreach for contributors. So if you're interested in that, come on over there and join us. Anybody else? Okay. Jason, I'll come back. One thing, if we want to do an outreach specifically to get some more people who have hands-on keyboard kind of experience from the red teaming, we can do a call for participation if you want to do that. We can put that out through through the LinkedIn channel to see if anybody wants to jump in, and we can figure out what a specific onboarding steps would be for them.
That might be cool. Sonu and I are meeting later this week to discuss the roadmap because I'm behind on getting that out. So we're gonna get that caught up this week, and we can talk about that as well and see if that's something we want to do. I think it's probably a good idea. Let me touch base with Sonu, get alignment, and then I'll reach out to you.
All right, sounds good. Just let me know.
Thanks.
Yep. All right. Going.
All right.
Go on.
I'll talk. It's really interesting hearing how the different subgroups approach similar problems from different angles. And looking at it from my systems perspective, I'm seeing a lot of different parts of a similar failure chain, but that's just where I'm looking at it from. So my perspective is a little different. Let's see what shakes out of that. I don't know.
Oh, you mean similar parts of coming from the different working groups?
Right. Different working groups are approaching, the way I see it, the same problem from different angles. And it's more of a cross-cutting concern.
Yeah, and so one of the things we're doing, part of the kind of the general charter of the project overall was to kind of make sure that we're giving out the guidance we can when we have it, with the goal toward doing more correlation as we go.
Mm-hmm.
So the general direction is to kind of do more correlation as we have more insights. So it's sort of a moving beast. And we're doing as much just like we're doing with the agentic one that's coming out. There's a lot of correlation that's being done between top 10, between other things, to reference so that we have some connected guidance. I guess this is the best way for me to describe it. Is
Perfect.
where we want to head to. But we also
Perfect.
don't want to slow down because things are moving so quickly. So we're trying to do it with as much awareness as possible with a goal toward getting to connected guidance, if that makes sense.
Awesome. That makes a lot of sense.
Okay. Cool. All right. Anybody else have any more comments or questions? All right. Well, thank you everybody for joining us today. Appreciate it. And we'll get back to you on cadence. As Steve mentioned, we're just trying to make sure we have a lot of different working groups that are working. We want to make sure the meetings we have are constructive and are helpful to folks. And so we wanted to look at both the scope, the goals of the meetings, and also the frequency of them so that we're not getting people burned out and but are at the same time making sure that we're sharing as much information as we can as relevant to the work that's going on. So, all right. Well, thank you. Have a good day, everyone. Take care.
Thank you very much.
Too.
Thanks.